What's up, world? It's your boy Drew Morrissey here for How to Rap, and in this video series, we're breaking down all you need to know about the music business by Donald S. Passman, the veritable music Bible, the industry Bible here. Now, we're basing all this content on the actual content of the book. You see the highlights, all of that. It's not an excuse not to buy the book. I always got to say this. It's the first link in the video description box below. You're going to get this twice much value with the actual book in hand, but we want to give you the content. Today, we're covering the business philosophies you need in order to start a professional music career. So let's get into it, not waste any of your time. Let's go. Now, we starts off chapter 1 with a section called Getting Your Team Together. And that's where you're deciding the main players of your inner circle in order of when you want to hire them, in order of hiring. So number 1, you want to hire a personal manager. Number 2, you want to hire an attorney. Number 3, you want to hire a business manager. Number 4, you want to hire your agency, your touring agents, your talent agents, your booking agents, etc. He then moves on to a section called business philosophy. These are 4 mantras that you want to move throughout your full career with in order to ensure that you'll be safe, you'll be organized, you'll take care of your business and your money in the best way possible. Now, number 1, you are a business. Now, this is a platitude and expression we hear all the time, so I want to break down quickly what I think he really means by this. When you first start a business, like an LLC, an S Corp, etc., your accountant is going to tell you to start separating your assets into business assets, business income, and personal assets, personal income. Furthermore, when you have a business dinner or a business function, a business relationship, you keep that on one side as separate from your personal relationships, income, investments, time, etc. So I believe the best way to approach this, even from right now, is when you have a business relationship, whether it's your personal attorney, your manager, etc., keep that professional, keep that separate. The time you invest, the money you put into certain business events, keep that in the business mentality, and then your personal investments and personal relationships are separate. One of the things I see up and coming artists often do is they're treating their friends as if they need to fulfill their business goals. Oh, you gotta listen to my song and be my personal A&R. Or their business, they're a little bit too friendly with their managers and attorneys, and that can get into a lot of trouble, as we'll discuss in a minute. Number 2, most artists don't like business. Now, he adds a caveat here, which is that doesn't mean you won't be good at it. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be bad at business, maybe just because you don't like it, or you might have a little interest in it. I think we can all think of examples of artists that are extremely shrewd business people who came into the game maybe with a little bit of street smarts, and then over time they realized their natural business acumen. So I think what Donald S. Passman is saying here is it's okay if you don't like business or you're a little turned off or it seems like too much work, as we talked about in the last video, but don't be afraid to investigate it, and maybe you will be very good at it. And it's okay, but it's something you want to invest your time in because you might be really talented. Number 3, success hides a multitude of sins. In other words, if you're successful, you can get away with a lot more than if you were messed up. I interpret this again as kind of a warning because we see the glitz and glamour and a lot of money being thrown around in the initial upfront part of a deal. But when you're at the top and everyone loves you, it's very easy to get some very bad habits and not set a solid foundation. So I think what Donald S. Passman wants us to do is to take this book, this video series, etc., very seriously so that we have that great foundation, we have good habits before we're at the top and everyone's telling us we're great. Because when the fall comes, and there probably will be a fall as he talks about in the next part, you want to make sure that you're organized, you separated everything properly, and you don't run the risk of losing all your money and just having a terrible second half of your life because you remember when you were the truth and I was a contender and now you're in trouble and you're broke. Which brings us into number 4. Your career is gonna have a limited run. Now, this is a tough pill to swallow, and I get it. Even reading it as a coach, as a music educator, it's scary because when we first get into the industry, we imagine we're going to be successful forever, and even when we're 80, we're going to be like Paul McCartney and doing tracks and albums and tours and stuff. But the reason he brings this up again is so that you understand the money that you're seeing up front, or the money you're seeing when you're a big success for the time being and the hits are flowing in, that may not be forever, right? If you think about your favorite artist and that $5 million deal they got made, imagine if the hits start running out a year later. And now that $5 million has to stretch them 30, 40 years. The average person, a construction worker, a teacher, whoever, makes $1 million over the course of their life, their working life, over the course of 40, 50 years. But when you think about it in terms of that money has to last them their entire life, $1 million doesn't seem so big. The same is the case with your music income. So be aware that your money is going to have to last you a very long time. When you're at the top, success hides a multitude of sins, and just be more organized. Think of yourself as a business, even if you don't like it, because you might be good at it. Now, he ends the business philosophy section with a warning. And he says, be very careful and pay attention personally, and he puts this in italics, to the process of assembling your team. Now, at the shooting of this video in November 2018, at least in the hip hop game, there's a very, very well-known rapper who kind of stands out if he was in the lineup, who didn't take the time to personally investigate the nature of the people in his inner circle. Not gonna say who, but if you look up November 2018 hip hop, probably get a good idea. So Donald S. Passman is kind of bringing a relevant point, at least to this point of the hip hop culture. And it's a great warning for you to understand that your personal manager, your attorney, your accountant, people who mess with your money, with your direct time, you need to personally one-on-one yourself, not somebody else, investigate those folks, make sure your inner circle's tight, and that you personally, you trust them. He moves on to a section called pre-team strategies, where he's gonna tell you a few things before you even build your team that you wanna make sure you have locked down. And the first thing he's gonna ask is a very serious question. Let's take a second on this one. He says, do you believe in your gut, in your heart of hearts, that your music has matured to the point that you're ready for a professional career? I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. If the answer is yes, then you're ready. Now, this hits a particular place for me as a music educator, because I think a lot of artists who come to watching how to get your business right, how to blow up on social media to get your music career popping, they get sort of swindled by the glitz and glamour and watching the numbers run on streams and Billboard, etc., without really making sure that they feel 100% confident in their craft, aka if you're a guitarist, do you know this fretboard in and out? If you're a rap artist, do you know how to flip every syllable? Can you go into any studio and write that bomb verse in 20, 30 minutes? Are you completely confident in your actual technical abilities? Are you sure that you can make those hits? Are you sure that you can do it time and time again, not just once to impress Pharrell? Only you can know this for sure, but the way I think about it and the way he's kind of describing it is, when you go to sleep at night, when you're laying your head on your pillow, can you, in your heart of hearts, just with you and nobody else, say, the only issue I have right now is I don't know the business from the book, or I haven't watched some videos about business, or do I still need to go back and relearn my music theory as an instrumentalist? Do I need to restudy how to make a great hook? Do I need to work on my studio etiquette, etc.? All right, and that concludes the business philosophy section of all you need to know about the music business. Now, be sure to subscribe if this is your first time watching this. You enjoy this content, you want to continue the series as we go through the entire big Bible, the big brick of music industry Bible. Now, as always, along with subscribing and hitting that notification bell, we end with a question. So I want to see you in the comments. Of course, you know what the question is going to be, the real serious one we just talked about. Do you believe in your heart of hearts when you go to sleep if you're really ready to do this? Why or why not? Let's keep it real. Let's build a community. Let's be honest with each other. Give each other some advice. I read every comment, but it's really important that you answer after having watched this video. Do you believe that you're ready? Why or why not? Let us know. If it's why not, why do you think, what do you think you need to do better? If it is, why? Why do you know? All right, so I'll see you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Till the next video. It's the big homie Drew. I'm out.